You hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, if you still remember in London Olympic, when all the eyes were watching the Olympic Games, 2 women were participating among the Palestinian team competing. Wurud Sawalha, 22 years old, and Sabine Hasboun, a swimmer. And there is another lady, actually, Amani Awatani. She was a trainer and a leader in the same team. In the same month of the Olympic Games, back home, 4 women have been killed in the name of honor. This is the reality of the Palestinian women. Remarkable achievements and major setbacks. So as you know, I am Palestinian, a refugee myself, like every other member of my family, refugees. I originally came from a small village called Salame, nearby Jaffa city. According to my grandpa, he said you could never see the city unless you are in a plane, simply because it was surrounded by orange trees. You have to see it from the sky. As in my case, I was born in a refugee camp, one of 3 refugee camps nearby Nablus city in the north of the West Bank. In a kitchen, invisible situation. There is no joy in it, neither to my mother nor to anyone in that situation. But I was born, and this is good, not bad. In that refugee camp, I grew up as a child, and I went to school, UNRWA school, United Nations Relief and Works Agency, where my teachers could notice that I have some qualities in a way or another, and really set high standards for me, and they never settle less. So I have always to compete, to study harder, to do extra work and activities in order to be the one to live upon those expectations and standards. In a few years later, I was able, by their warmth and support, to get scholarships. The first one was a master's degree in the United States for public administration. Another one here in Europe, human rights in Central European University. And later on, I got a PhD scholarship in Vienna University in political science. A lot. A lot, not only for a girl from a refugee camp, but for Palestinian women. You can count those women who have PhD degrees, especially those refugees coming from a refugee camp. For I believed in something. Teaching is a tool. And I could, by education, by educating myself and others, upscale my achievement. So it's not only me, but all those others I want to serve, as my teachers did. How much is it due to my father, this teaching style? I can never tell. My father is a teacher himself, he has his own style. And he, for example, he could just ask school kids, can you name the largest animal on earth? As I am asking you now. Can you name it, the largest animal on earth? Yeah. And the answers are as many for kids as you are now. Many answers, many opinions about that. And after a while, he would turn the whole topic saying something like, okay, this is the introduction. Now we are going to talk about the smallest animals on earth. So it's just an introduction. And this is how I see it. I see the extreme answers, opinions, perspectives, views given by all those people around. But I could also see at varied degrees so many details in between. And with my students, female and male, for I am teaching now at Birzeit University, I create that space, especially for young girls, and boys, of course, but girls mainly, to speak up, to have a voice, and another space to act upon. She's not alone. And why it's important to young girls and boys? Because they are the ones who can lead the change. They are the future agents. And I see it enormously important to do that with them. With whom other than them? And I could see that practically happening all the time. I am now based in Ramallah city in the West Bank, directing and directed by gender equity. I live in a corner of 2 streets. One, where I see all the young girls carrying out a campaign, youth-led campaign against sexual harassment. And another street, where I could simply go sit down on a low wall and eat some falafel. I hope you tried. Or you will. Saba falafel shop in Ramallah, it is the best. Please, you are welcome. Have a sandwich, eat it there peacefully without anyone to take a gaze while you are sitting there. The 2 perspectives are there. The 2 streets are there, and there are even more. My choice is about attitude. The precious view I choose and I act upon. Downtown Ramallah, where I could sit there. Ramzi Abu Radwan, like me, a refugee, and his musical center, it's called El Kamanjati, another place to visit when you come to Palestine. He established for kids, girls and boys, who cannot afford it, who cannot afford to learn music, because it's really expensive. He did it for them. An example like this, for me, it's a metaphor for the future and how it could be. And again, to act upon. These are the choices I'm trying to make, but not alone, with all young women. And by connecting more and more with my friends, with my classmates, with my students, with my colleagues, with my family, the nuclear and the extended one. I want to be with them. I want to connect with them. I want them to connect to me. I want to hear all their stories. I want to listen carefully to everything they say and be there when they need me. I want to be the home for their stories. I want my friend to simply, easily talk to me about the terror of war. Even though I can't picture myself in her situation, and I see everything I learned and I taught. Probably ridiculously little, very little compared to their stories. Who am I listening to my friend telling me, I was listening to the missiles coming, hitting me. This is a week ago during the war on Gaza. She was sitting, just listening, expecting the missile to come and hit her house and hit her. She didn't know where this missile could reach. And every time she has the sound on the sky, she said, oh, it's my turn. When it is over and it is not her, she would say, okay, but now who was hit? What happened to those who had been hit? War is destroying our humanity. Hussam, a young boy, turning to his mother asking, Mama, what would happen to us if a land incursion happened and all the soldiers come in Gaza? Are we going all to survive? Are we going all to be killed? What can be done? A father telling his family who are gathering because they don't know if they are going to live or die in minutes. Why are you gathering here all together in one room? What if a missile hit the whole house and killed everyone? There is no one would be there to bury the dead bodies, at least. So this is where I come from. This is where I try to make that change, but not alone, in connection with everyone, in one global village, in one little home. And this is my question. Is it possible for a home to be a person, to be you, or you, or you, or you? With this question, I end my speech.